and none hindereth. Right? And this is speaking about, yes, Esau in them 1,000 years persecuted of none hindereth, none stoppeth. Right? The whole earth is at rest. The whole earth is going to be at peace. Even the trees, yes, they have a spirit attached to it. Right? And is quiet and break forth into singers. So even nature within itself, which we're not supposed to worship nature, is even going to be what celebrating when this man has gone down. Right? Everything's going to go back to what its natural state. Esau has removed everything from its natural state. Okay? The whole earth is at rest and quiet. They break forth into singing. Yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no fella. What's it lumberjack? Right? Tree cutter. No fella is come up against us. And you got Esau just chopping down trees for no reason. The trees are the form of oxygen. You got Esau just chopping down trees for no reason. And saying, since I laid down, no feathers come up against us. Hell from beneath is moved up to meet thee at thy coming. What death? Right? The grave, it stirreth up the dead for thee, and all the chief ones of the earth it has raised up from their thrones, and all the kings of the nations. All they that shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp, that pride, is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, and the worm is spread unto thee, and the worm shall cover thee. Right? So this man is going to be brought down. And that's why it's so great. The higher you are, the harder the fall. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? And what does Lucifer mean? Lucifer means light bearer. So that means they fell from their higher state. Right? O Lucifer, son of the morning. So when you go into the word Lucifer, son of the morning, what's that going into? Light bearer? Because Esau, he has the light and he has it on the left hand side. Right? Excuse me. So he has that light, but that light is on the left hand side. Right? It's not on the right hand side. It's on the left hand side. Right? And the scripture says the knowledge of wickedness is not true knowledge. Right? That's not true wisdom. Okay? Excuse me just a minute. So it says, oh Lucifer, son of the morning. So Lucifer, it just means light bearer. So even Yahweh Shai, he'd be known as what? The light bearer. Right? And that means what? Illuminated. Right? So in other words, you have the light, you have the wisdom. But what Esau has is the, what do they call it? It's historic. I forgot what they call it. It's esoteric. Esau has the esoteric knowledge how to what? Control people. That's what it is, but it's on the left hand side. Yahweh ultimately is Lucifer, the light bearer, the ultimate knowledge. Right? And it says, how art thou cut down to the ground which did weaken the nations? Right? So when it says cut down to the ground, you're raising something. So Esau is going to be what? Be brought down. And it said did weaken the nations. How did he weaken the nations? Through his policies. Why? Because he controls the governments. You control the government, you control the policy. That means you control the laws. Right? And that's how he was able to what? Weaken these nations and get in there and remove what? The leaders of particular nations, whether it be Libya, wherever it may be. He was able to remove them and set up his puppet leaders through his policies and also through his democracy. Right? That's how he's able to do this. Okay? And this is why you also just got to study history as well. Go to Job 20. Bear me just a minute. Go to Job 20. Okay. Oh, actually, let's go to Job 18. I haven't been to the scripture for a long time. And 5. Yeah, the light of the wicked shall be put out. Right? And the spark of his fire shall not shine. Right? The wisdom of in other words, the wisdom of this world. Okay? The light shall be dark in his tabernacle, okay, in his system. And that's happening. You know, the wise men are failing you, your prognosticators, your warlocks, your witches, they're failing you. Okay? His candle shall be put out with him. The steps of his strength shall be what? Straightened, right? And his own counsel shall cast him down. So it says the steps, yes, of his strength, shall be straightened. Because the scriptures tell you in Revelation 17 and 16, the nations, they're going to be upon him. Right? He's going to be in straits, dire straits. And his own counsel shall cast him down. Right? For he is cast into a net by his own feet, and walketh upon a snare, a trap. The jinn shall take him by the heel, when the robber shall prevail against him, the other nations. The snare is laid for him in the ground, and a trap for him in the way. Terror shall make him afraid on every side. Every single side. Right? Why? Because these nations, NATO, eventually are going to turn on America, and these so-called third world nations as well, that are stacking up military might. Okay? Terror shall make him afraid on every side. I shall drive him to his feet. Right? It's going to be shooken. His strength shall be hunger bitten, and destruction shall be ready at his sight. Okay? And strength hunger bitten, that means failing of strength, failing of might. Right? It shall devour the strength of his skin. Even the firstborn of death shall devour his strength. Who's the firstborn of death? Yahushai shall devour. That's the one who's doing it, Yahushai. His confidence shall be rooted out of his tabernacle. Right? Everything he thought he was going to attain, that's going to be rooted out. It shall bring him to the king of terrors. Who's the king of terrors? Yahushai. He shall dwell in his tabernacle, because it is none of his. Right? What he stole from these other nations. Brimstone shall be scattered upon his habitation. This is going into World War III. Brimstone. That same fire and brimstone that burnt up Sodom and Gomorrah is going to be what? Scattered upon what? His land. America, Babylon. His roots shall be dried up from beneath. So there's going to be no revival. Once his kingdom's taken down, it's not going to be revived again. Right? And his branch shall be cut off. Right? There's not going to be no resuscitation. There ain't going to be another Rothschild say, well, no, they're going to be in slavery, and his remembrance shall perish from the earth. Right? Esau's going to be a thing of the past, and he shall have no name, in the street. He shall be driven from light into darkness, okay, from good times into bad, right? And chased out of the world. He shall neither have son nor nephew among his people, nor any remaining in his dwellings. They that come after him shall be astonished at his day, right? As they that went before him were affrighted. Surely such are the dwellings of the wicked. Right? And this is the place of him that knoweth not the Most High. Why does it say knoweth the Most High? Because Esau, he doesn't want to, he knows that there's a higher power. Because he's done studies, but he doesn't want to acknowledge the Most High. He thinks he's the Most High. Let's go to Psalm. We're going to shut off soon. Right? But he doesn't want to acknowledge the Most High. He thinks he's God himself. That's why it's going to be brought down. Go to Psalms 14. The fool have said in his heart that there is no God. Right? So if you feel, I don't believe in God, well, you're a fool then. Right? They are corrupt, they are done abominable works. If you don't believe in a higher power, and that means you don't believe in the judgment. Right? That means you don't, what do you believe? Right? They have done abominable works, there is none that doeth good. The Lord Jehovah shall look down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand. Right? So he's looking down right now and saying, well, who's my servants? Who believes? Right? And seek the Most High. That means it's very rare. There's not much. Okay, there's a few that seek Yahweh Yahushai. They are all gone aside. They are all together become filthy. There is none that doeth good, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people? They devour us. They're going to be devoured. The scripture says that. Therefore, all that devour thee, they shall be devoured. All they that prey upon thee, they shall be what? Become a prey and a spoil. Right? And it says, have all the workers of no knowledge who eat up my people as they eat bread and call not upon the Lord Yahweh our shy, so they devour our people. Right? And they do that also by what? Loaning, these loaning sharks, all that getting you in debt, all those things. Right? They were in great fear, for the Most High is in the generation of the righteous. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge. All the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion, which is when the Lord shall bring back the captivity of his people. Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad. Right? And that's what Yahweh is doing, bringing back our captivity. Okay, restoring us. And all we have to do is what? Endure. Alright, so with this lesson, I'm going to shut off here. Lord willing, this was edifying, and until the next time, Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom.